beauties. So, one of the videos from the last several days, strong message came through about reprogramming your beliefs, reprogramming your soul, and that is essentially your subconscious beliefs and everything that kind of ties with the programming that happened in the first 7 years tentatively of your life, and it continues. But so I would like to kind of just discuss like why and how you can go about doing that. Because anything that you work hard at, anything that you put a lot of effort into, anything that you sweat over to make it happen, the question is, why are you working so hard? The answer is your programs and your subconscious don't support that. When you're thinking, that's conscious mind, creative. I'm thinking. If your conscious mind is driving the vehicle, let's say you're controlling your nervous system, controlling your behavior, you got the hands on the wheel, you're driving the car with your wishes and desires. I want to go here, I want to go do that. Cool, wishes and desires. Say you're walking down the street and then all of a sudden you have a thought. The conscious mind at this moment, is it paying attention to the walking on the street, or did it go inside your head and look for the answer? That's a question. The moment your conscious mind went ahead, it's not paying attention to what's going on the outside, is it? When my conscious mind is in thought, my subconscious by default becomes autopilot. When I am thinking, my conscious mind is engaged in creative imagination. By definition, it's not paying attention, and whatever behavior I'm engaged with at that moment is now going to be run by what? Subconscious program, autopilot. When you're thinking, autopilot, subconscious is in control. How much of the time are we thinking? The average person, 95% of the day has a thought going on, which means 95% of the behavior during that day is programmed and managed by the subconscious. Your life is not controlled by the conscious mind, which is your wishes and desires. It's controlled by the subconscious, which has been programmed by observing other people. And then your life becomes an expression of their behaviors. The programming of your subconscious started in the last trimester, actually, of pregnancy, and was intense from year 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then by 7, it really starts to lessen. And so the first 7 years of programming, and so your question will be, how do you know what your programs are? Well, 95% of your life comes from the subconscious, and the point here, your life is a printout of your subconscious programming. So you really don't need to go back in your life and find out who did what to who to create the life that you have. All you have to do is look at the life that you have now, because it's an expression of your programs. The things that you like that come into your life easily are there because you have programs to encourage and support that. Anything that you work hard at, anything that you put a lot of effort into, anything that you have to sweat over to make it happen, the question is, why are you working so hard? The answer is your programs and subconscious programs don't support that. It's not a what, it's a can do. Like, what happens if I can change or rewrite my subconscious? What if you took all the negative behaviors that are interfering in your life and rewrote them with really positive behaviors, with wishes and desires that are the same as the subconscious mind, so that either the conscious mind or the subconscious mind are both operating from wishes and desires, whether you're paying attention or not paying attention. You're still playing wishes and desires. So in other words, you could have a honeymoon style life the rest of your life every day. The only reason that you lost the honeymoon is because you went back and got caught up in playing the old tapes and sacrificing and sabotaging yourself without even seeing it. And then the honeymoon ends, If you had rewritten those subconscious programs so that they could form and align with your current wishes and desires, then it wouldn't make any difference if you were thinking or not thinking. Your behavior in both situations would always lead you to the fullest happiness of the honeymoon experience as a way of life, every day of your life. We look at our lives, we have all of these desires. We have conscious mind, and then we have the subconscious program, as psychologists say, running about 95% of the time, downloading from other people and sabotaging our lives. So now we can identify these programs by looking at our lives And then where do we need support to change what's not working and test our subconscious for whether or not it's supporting those beliefs or not supporting those beliefs. And if it doesn't support what you want, you can rewrite it. The conscious mind, being creative, can learn in a creative way. It can read a self-help book, and after one reading, it can be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I've been educated. I could change something like this. My life would be great if I just understood this. And you're like, well, I just read the book and I understand what it says, but how come my life's not changing? You can go to a lecture, you can read a book, you can watch a video, you can even just go aha and have an epiphany. And the conscious mind, being creative, can really learn just from that. But what about the subconscious? It's a habitual mind. How do you create a habit? Reading a book once isn't a habit, so what's the point? The self-help book that you read was picked up information-wise, educated, and enhanced your conscious awareness, but yet didn't even touch your subconscious programs. You have the same behavior you had before you read that book, after you read that book. Okay? And why? Because the conscious mind learns by reading the book. The subconscious, the habit, you don't learn from one reading of the book. So here are 3 things that you need to rewrite your subconscious. Number 1, how did it learn in the first 7 years, right? The programmable period. Well, the brain was in a low vibrational frequency called theta, which is essentially hypnosis. So if you use hypnosis, yeah, you can reprogram your mind. The vibration of theta, it's a low vibration. It's below consciousness, which is alpha, and a higher vibration than alpha is beta, which is like, schoolroom studying, when you're work mind, work consciousness. The next one down is more calm, is alpha, and below alpha is theta, which is, like that hypnosis, imagination phase as well, because children in that theta period, the first 7 years, they really mix the real world and the imaginary world seamlessly, or the other dimensional world with this dimensional world. And so below theta is delta, and that's your absolute sleep for most people. Every day when you wake up, you're coming from delta, you're coming from the very lowest vibration, and just as you're waking up in the morning, just as you're coming out of sleep, the immediate groggy period in the beginning, that's theta. And so that's where imagination and hypnosis and reality start to really mix together. You can blend dimensions and really get deep into programming. So when you wake up, you go through the zone of theta every day naturally from delta to theta. You just move on up. So theta is imagination. So guess what? If you're putting earphones on, or you have a speaker beside your bed and you play something just before you go to bed, and your mind's not paying attention just as you're falling asleep, theta is engaged. And what's theta doing? Taking the program and downloading it into your subconscious mind, because that's what theta does. Hypnosis, bypassing the conscious mind, which just fell asleep. So every night, putting a program of behavior that you want to create in your life, repetition of that every night would then manifest that experience. Number 2, what about programming after age 7? Well, the conscious mind is working, so how do you put a new program in at that point, right? You have to practice. You have to repeat something over and over and over again. You have to actually make it a habit. Repetition. So if your behaviors aren't supporting you, generate a behavior that represents supporting you and repeat that, just like a player on any sports team, right? Get out and do the practice. Repeat it. Even if it's not real at the time, it will become real. It will become real as it becomes downloaded as a program in your subconscious. It'll take that program and then use that to manage life from it subconsciously. It'll become automatic. And this last one is really important. Belief change modifications, right? Like, there's a bunch of different modalities, and they all involve stuff, terms sometimes like super learning. It's just practices where you can rewrite a subconscious belief in a lot shorter of a time period, and that's really a benefit too of deep meditation and things of that nature, because you really can get yourself to that brainwave state, to that theta state, right? Maybe sometimes within like 10 minutes. So yes, we can reprogram ourselves, and because the majority of our programs are negative and disempowering, so the vast majority of people on this planet are having that negative experience as well. So the next most important thing now is to recognize, well, if I'm not getting what I want, is it because the universe isn't giving it to me? And the answer is obviously, inevitably, no. It's because your own program, that's invisible, operating 95% of the day, is keeping it away from you. Take control, guys. You can really do it. Practice, practice, practice. So that's why you'll see a lot of affirmation videos, stuff of that nature, subliminal sleep videos. Make sure that you're doing your research. You know exactly what you're using, of course. But yeah, sleep headphones are a fantastic way to do that. You can get them really cheap, like $20 on Amazon, no matter where you probably are in the world, right? And they're like soft, they're padded, they're perfect. You gotta try something new if you want to be something new. I have faith in you.